And his sporting hero, Michael, Stephen Bradbury. Now, I wonder, that's a Stephen Bradbury, isn't it? Everybody else falls over and he gets the mark.
Exactly.
Look, he's done a fantastic job on Jeremy Johncock today and has rebounded and carried the footy beautifully at a half back. You know, it's a mistake, but at an important time as well. The Eagles had control of the game. Just gives Sturt a bit of a sniff now.
Jonathan Giles, 12 disposals, 3 marks today.
I reckon he likes a good laugh, Jonathan Giles, because that was quite funny and humorous when Stephen Bradbury won that gold medal. But like he said, reward for hard work over a period of time. Sturt go forward. McKenzie almost taken by Jarrett, and he gives that a fair old hoof. Goldsworthy in front against McGlone. McGlone kept on running. Fierce attack on the ball. In goes Sam Miles for Sturt. And the umpire said ball it up. Good, tough, physical stuff. Big bump there. And they go. Cicalella. Cheap. Fed it out nicely. Here's Broadbent. Horrible looking kick, but it might just bounce through for a goal. Has it got the legs? Yes, it has. You said he's a good finisher. Not the best of kicks, but it was straight.
Now, you can see he's getting fitter and his running power and ability to find the footy, but Eagles just won the contested footy here. There's Cheap, who's able to get it out. Broadbent spreads to the outer side. Once again, similar to Jarrett, he's tried to kick the ball too hard, and it's tumbled through for a goal.
Goal for goal in the last couple of minutes, but that's not going to be enough for the Double Blues. 27 points down, 8 minutes in, final term. And as we said earlier, ahead of them is the Anzac Day rematch out at Elizabeth with the Doggies. We'll be there from 3 o'clock next Sunday afternoon. Fiddick and Grokey in game number 100. And Grokey got it away and Cheap was having a day out. To Geddes, inside forward 50. Fumbled by Staple. The follow-up was pretty good, but he's then disappointed he's over the line. There's two sides across their history. That is, since the Eagles became the Eagles, the amalgamation of Woodville and West Torrens. They've gone 6 apiece here at Unley. 12 matches, 6 wins each. Welsh just tracking it towards the line, out of bounds in the forward pocket. Right into the ground if you're an Eagles fan.
I'll tell you what, Andrew, if you said that the Eagles had kicked 18-6, you wouldn't have thought Cheek would have got 4 and Goldsworthy 4 when you got Welsh and Salter.
They've certainly bobbed up today. They're the players, you know, probably a lot of the work for Luke Norman would have gone into Salter and Welsh. Probably not so much into Goldsworthy and Cheek.
Grokey gives away the free kick to Jacob Bowen. Just went a bit early and got in the back of the big man. There's Jay Cheek. Very lively. The kick out wide. Fiddick gave it to the running McGlone. Well, they need to kick a couple on the trot. Do the Double Blues. McGlone kicks out wide and takes the long way around. And Evans has he been paid the mark?
No, it's hit a trainer over there. And obviously an Eagles trainer, so they've paid a free kick to Sturt.
That's fair enough. Need to get out of the way. Evans with a ball burster to Chambers. Grieger. Chambers away. Here's a goal to Gum. No. Out on the full. Missed everything. Onto the practice bowl, onto the bowling green over there. Well, just got it pretty quick to boot and probably had more time than he thought.
Exactly what I was going to say. Did he have time to straighten Michael? He probably, turned the footy when really he needed to do was use his pace, straighten his body and finish with a goal.
So the time taken in retrieving the ball from the bowling green means that everything's pretty tight further up the field. Good honest leap from Hill though at the ball, out of bounds. Just have another look just why that free kick awarded. The trainer trying to get to the boundary line couldn't, and yes, hits a trainer's fault no matter the circumstance. Free kick to the opposition. Bowen flips it over the back. Lewis, haven't called his name a lot today. That was clever. Miles leapt for the ball, brought it down, play on, called the umpire. Gum still with possession. Cheap was very aggressive at the ball and the player, and we'll get a ball up just in front of the interchange area. And Miles will come in for the Eagles in the ruck. Bowen just knocked it forward for Crane. Still play on. Crane didn't want to take possession. Evans taken down. Crunch. Umpire saw it was after the play, so Evans will take the free kick. Miles was the culprit for the Eagles. Evans plays on quickly. Long he goes. If it goes over the back, the Blues are on, but it came to the front. Maybe they're still on. Sheedy. Option taken down. Miles dives on it. He's dived on. What does the umpire think? He's buried under there somewhere. And the umpire says, I'll have it.
Probably didn't need to go to ground there. Miles just really had to pick the ball up and give on the way up to a free Eagles player just to keep his feet. But that's that perceived pressure of a big game today.
2 efforts there from Miles, the tap and then the rove. Grokey can't take it. Here's Cheap. Back inboard, lovely handball to Grokey. Grokey caught, handball, marginal to Goldsworthy. Spillage goes to Powell. Powell goes with a spearing kick, looking for Salter. Couldn't take the mark. McGlone did pretty well. Here's Sam Miles for Sturt. Kicks out wide, but who's he kicked it to? Number 12, Brad Geddes, that's who. Geddes gets a call from Broadbent. Broadbent's going to fly, take the mark. Broadbent thought about it in short and just to the bootlaces of Salter. Cheap can't grab it. In goes Miles, over the top walk of his own man. Bode comes in with a tackle. Umpire says, give it to me. Desperation stakes. You just get the feeling Sturt need the next 2 unanswered to stay in it.
And certainly the Eagles had a number of opportunities there just to get a shot at goal. And if they'd finish that off, you feel as though that might have been the game.
Cabillo just grabbed it, fed it out. Miles thought it just fell out of his hands. Ball flicks over the back. Opportunity for Broadbent. Good smart hands. Lewis tries to roll it through for a goal. That is magnificent. Goal of the day without question, Scott Lewis.
Yeah, good smart play. Matthew Broadbent again involved. He's been instrumental in the first 14 minutes of this last quarter. We get a look at the replay. There's the contest. There's Goldsworthy with smart footy to work it out the back. And Broadbent reacts to a voice from Lewis and just gives out the back. You can see the jubilation there on Broadbent. The Eagles now just wonder where these goals are going to come from for the Double Blues.
Scott Lewis, 12 disposals today. Matthew Broadbent, 20 disposals, 5 in this last term.
It was supposed to be a big day out for Brad Chambers last year in round 7. He kicked 11 against the Eagles. Received 3 McGarry votes. But wasn't to be this afternoon. He's got 2. He needs 1 more to equal the great Rick Davies, who's Sturt's best ever goal kicker. And at this stage, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Here's Nelson, just toe poked it forward. Welsh with a hand pass forward from the rebound. That looked like in the back. Still play on, called the umpire. Fiddick taken down, or is that Plant? Might be Plant who's taken down eventually.
There's a free kick to Sturt.
Just the follow-up, I think, was pitched there, and Jimmy Plant, who kicked 4 goals last week, and the ball seemed to rocket to his hands without question, and this week it's been a bit of a struggle. He drives it wide looking for Bowen. 2 grabs, umpire, play on. Here's Crane towards centre wing looking for John Cock. Jared's had the better of him today. He got one in the head there, Jared, on the way down. Roundtree. John Cock comes at him. Did he drop it? Umpire called play on. John Cock had the ball kicked out of his hands by Jared, who was clever, towards Goldsworthy, who was good enough to knock it over the line.
Time's going to beat Sturt, and they're not playing well enough anyway. The Eagles have had most of it in this final term. Broadbent, Welsh, then Broadbent again, and Lewis, so only goal kicker was Giles. High kick. Eagles going forward again. Who can take a mark? Fiddick in there just carries the ball to ground, and they defend desperately, do Sturt, to just hang on. 16 minutes gone, final term. Eagles pushing hard. They can smell victory here. They lead by 33. Ball not clear. Here's an opportunity for Welsh. Check side. He's kicked another one. It's a 39-point lead to the Eagles. And Scotty Welsh has got 3. He's had an indifferent day, but he's bobbed up and kicked 3.
Interesting, the ratio of Eagles goals that have not only come from stoppages, but from the ground, where they've been heavily reliant on marks on Welsh and Solder, and that's where we expected their goals to come from. Their forward line has worked very well when the balls hit the ground, and Welsh there just actively involved again.
Scoring rate has lifted since the umpire elected to take the new ball in the third quarter.
Has it swung much?
I don't take that stat normally.
Well, another problem for the Eagles, but late in the match, though, I don't think it's going to worry them too much with Jay Cheap coming off the ground. He's had a day out. Not a good way to finish. Vassell in the middle, couldn't get it out. Roundtree was good. Miles considered. Allman. He goes down to half forward with a long kick. Just a hit and hope, really. Bounce favoured Grokey in the end. Grokey to goal, and he tried to dribble it around the corner. Oh, and it jumped over with a good bounce past Nelson. Oh, if you don't mind. Maybe that's the goal of the day.
Close. Once again, just won the centre clearance, didn't they? They eventually worked it free. Allman gets it forward. This Grokey just gets a hand in. And probably had time to straighten his body, didn't he, really, and kick a goal, but selected. Obviously, they've been practicing these out of the Eagles with first Welsh and now Grokey finishing that off.
Game number 100 for Adam Grokey. You'd give it to him, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Look, he's been very good today too. Very good in the role that he's played for the Eagles and the number of goal assists that he's been instrumental in today.
Since you've left the Eagles, they've done a lot more of that sort of stuff at training, apparently, Andrew.
Funny about that, isn't it?
And Michael, as you can see, yes, there has been a lot more swing with the new ball.
Yes, it has. Just been bounding away aimlessly. 45 points the margin now. It's 21 goals, 6. What's the matter with goal kicking in football? Nothing wrong with it at all. The Eagles have proved that. Here's Pittard, and it'll be a free kick coming back to Gum, or will they pay the advantage rule? No, Tristan Gum's going to get the free. He's faded out of the game a bit, Tristan Gum. He's had a few mates too, and there's a 25-metre penalty against Nick Salter for probably inching over the mark half a toenail. Just ridiculous, that rule. Here's Tristan Gum booting it long. They're hoping for a mark, and they get one. And Jonathan Giles, with those big telescopic arms, reaching over the top. And a good long bomb and good option.
Yeah, good option. You've got a tall player down there. Get the ball in quickly. Stuart Hill probably could have done a little bit better then.
Giles for his second. Does the business. It's back to 39 points. Jonathan Giles. 2 goals in the match.
And he's been a good player thus far this year for the Double Blues. He's given them first look in the middle. And while he hasn't dominated today, this is certainly a part of his game that if he can develop better, that Luke Norman can use him forward more often.
And yes, Michael, that was only Tristan Gum's 6th disposal since half-time after 20 in the first half.
I don't think it's been a hard tag either. I'd suggest it's probably he's fallen away in his work rate in that area.
Giles, Andrew, didn't play a game with Port Adelaide. I think he had 5 years or maybe 6 seasons on their AFL list. Just wonder if he can develop that side of his game. You just wonder if he may yet have a future in AFL football.
Well, you know, as I spoke about it earlier with Barlow at Fremantle as a 22, 23-year-old, you know, Giles, if he can keep developing, and big men they generally are more patient with. So certainly I think that's part of the reason that he left the Doggies was for more opportunities here at the Double Blues and to lead this ruck to give himself more exposure at this level.
Does he do enough around the ground? Do you think, does he take enough marks? Does he get back in the hole? He's you know, does some good work in the forward line.
Yeah, look, when you compare him with Sanderlands and the Fremantles and the Coxes and the Nat Newies and blokes like that we see in the AFL, no.
But they're pretty elite.
Oh, exactly right. But you have to be an elite player to play AFL footy.
Absolutely, you do, Andrew, and you were.
Here's Vassell out of the middle.
I was elite.
And John Cock finally gets on top of Jared. Hasn't happened often enough this afternoon for the Double Blues. Giles the target over the back. No, didn't quite fall for Chambers, the goal sneak. Cabillo, quite brilliant to Hassan, and then to Giles, and then to Chambers. Is this it for Brad Chambers? No, it isn't. And eventually it's holding on, and it'll go against Chambers. It looked like he was about to level Rick Davies' club record goal-kicking tally, but oh no. And now Jared's away. Well, sort of. Good from Giles, good chase, but in the end he was holding the man. Jared will take the free kick.
Sorry, everyone stop.
Just another quick look at Jeremy Johncock's mark. He can do the freakish things, can't he?
Been pretty quiet today, Johncock. They just haven't got the productivity from him that they would have liked, but he's just working his way back in to the side after starting the season off in the reserves. Here's Jared going in slow motion and finds Remington at half-back. The Eagles lead by 39 points.
Jared not living up to his nickname of the Flash then, was he?
No, it was very slow build-up, wasn't it? Grieger, and that's probably the worst kick we've seen all day, but it lands with Lewis, and that's been the day for the Eagles. He kicks, looking for Goldsworthy. Over the top, reaching was Miles. McGlone got it to Fiddick, and then back to Miles, who pierced the handball away to Bowen, and then back to Miles, and then Miles' kick to a one-on-one. Evans, just lost his footing, picked up by Salter. Salter bangs it long. Getting back is Welsh. Got a lucky bounce. Oh, he might kick another one here, Scotty Welsh. Decides to give it off to Powell, and Powell kicks a goal. Oh, it all just bounced beautifully for Scott Welsh. Poor old Ben Nelson did everything right and then just got snookered by the bounce of the ball.
Yes, and Sam Miles switched across half-back while it looked good. It was long, over a long distance, but also it wasn't to a player that could play on. It was really to a one-on-one. It was fraught with danger. Eventually, Nick Solder won that. Welsh, unselfishly, could have had a snap. Gives back to hard-working Luke Powell.
Luke Powell, 26 disposals, equal leading possession getter on the ground.
Bowen and Gilhouse to go at it again. Gilhouse follows up nicely to Geddes. Sikalella. Wide, he's got Powell. No, he hasn't. He's got Roundtree. Roundtree with a couple of dodges, and then finally off the left foot long he goes. And almost to mark to Welsh. Could have played that. Plant wanted the boundary more so than Miles, who was sort of in the area. Goldsworthy couldn't get there in time. Goldsworth, Andrew mentioned, from over on York Peninsula, CMS Crows. Bernie Vince territory from memory, so who knows what's in store for young Goldsworthy. Miles slips out the hand pass. Gum, who's gone out of the game in the second half. Fiddick. Long he goes for John Cock. Jarrett in there with the punch. Allman. And off the foot, I think. Yeah, it was off the foot of John Cock, but not out on the full, which I initially thought was the end result. Some work on Jay Cheap there, but you see an enormous ice pack on his ankle, so it's pretty clear what the problem is. Sheedy. Evans wanted to get to his left foot, finally did. Kick was a bit high. Chambers tried to follow up. Grieger got him away from the ball. Remington back there. And Remington was calm. He gives it to the man who's basically been their designated kicker off half-back this afternoon, and Luke Jarrett. Dangerous across goals.
Lewis was okay, got it to Geddes. Geddes spears the kick to Sikalella. Thought about the handball. Dummies around. Allman's just cruising by. Away to Goldsworthy. Now Goldsworthy's going to load up from 50. Wobbly old helicopter. Broadbent might just kick another one. 51 points the margin, and Broadbent has booted 3, and they've all been in the last quarter.
It really was a controlled build-up by the Eagles. They worked it out at half-back, looking for free players, hit targets on the way out. Goldsworthy, unfortunately, has tried to overkick that a little bit. But Matthew Broadbent is very good hands, very good below his knees, and his three-quarter last quarter performance has really been the icing on the cake. The Eagles midfielders, certainly since halfway through that third quarter, have really got on top in the middle.
Highest score of the SANFL season so far, and therefore the highest losing score by Sturt.
Giles knocks a ball forward for Sturt. Crane in and under. Then it fell to Gum. And then on his left foot, Evans closes from 40, should finish the job, misses.
Okay.
Craig Evans, 1 goal, 1 to him, 8-1 to 2-1 in this last quarter. When all the Eagles, the kick out looking for Goldsworthy. Giles has kicked a couple of goals in the last term. Well done by Pittard, back to Vassell. Vassell to Sheedy. Sheedy's got to circumnavigate the Goldsworthy and the line. Gets Goldsworthy, but then can't keep it in. 26 and a half gone. Vassell's faded out of it too. He's had a few mates. Sturt have really dropped off in this final term. Giles knocked it over the back. Pittard needs a kind bounce and then didn't get one. Lewis kept persisting, fell over. Gum, handball back. Evans kicks inside 50. High ball, Herring in front, had it knocked away. Mackenzie, so cool and calm in the crisis. Jared paddles away. John Cock got involved again. John Cock, well done. Got it away to Crane. Crane with a spear to Chambers. Can't take the mark. It might be okay. Vassal on his right boot. It wobbles through. As Jasper Pittard takes, he's done a hammy, and he might have done it high too. Let's have a look and see how this happened to Jasper Pittard. Oh, there it is. And he couldn't go with Scotty Lewis. So Jasper Pittard takes a break. Vassal gets, let's have a look. Brad Vassal gets his second goal.
44 the margin. Not long left in this one. Nearly 28 minutes gone. Trouble for Sturt after starting with a draw and then a loss to North, starting with a draw with the Panthers and a loss to North Adelaide. And they managed to overcome Glenelg to show their potential last week, but having lost this afternoon to the Eagles, next week, Central District. So they go forward. Vassal, long, he missed Chambers' lead. He got John Cock though. Jared did well coming back, and cruising through was Crane for the goal.
Crane's booted free, and he's just kept on going today, Luke Crane. Really kept trying, hasn't he, Andrew?
Yeah, it looked as though he's going to break the game open early with his pace, and it really troubled the Eagles. But he's had a lot of fellow mates who have fallen out of the contest, and when they haven't controlled the contested footy around the contest, like him and Gum and even Evans to a lesser extent, haven't really been able to impact on the game.
A couple of consolation goals toward the end of the quarter. Eagles lead by 38. Back in the centre. Vassal can't get through the power tackle. That disappointing for Jasper Pittard, doing a hammy. It suggests that's a couple of weeks. He'll spend a bit of time on the sidelines with John Hinge, who I was surprised that he was named in the side. Missing a hamstring just 1 week. That doesn't happen very often. Lewis did well to Geddes. Geddes kicks long. Indirect, over the back. On Welsh, the beneficiary of another good bounce, but he can't make the most of it this time. Ball close to the line. I think it's gone over. McGlone has taken it there. That ball. Now, what do we got here? Nice little steal from Lewis. Well done. Terrific bit of work. Mind you, there's a fair bit of luck involved in it. Boundary throw in. Good throw in by the boundary umpire's been eating his cereal in the morning. Taken by Hassan. Hassan spears the kick, looking for Herring, and Herring takes it.
A rare opportunity for Herring again in the second half. They really haven't gone forward with precision, Sturt. Here's Hassan, got it from Gum. Hassan on 50, Chambers breaks and couldn't get the kick he wanted. Jared quickly onto the boot. Bit of space for Geddes. Down the line, he's got a couple available. One of them was Powell, just inside the line. Nobody inside, so he'll have to go long. He looks for the lead of Miles. Punch down from behind, straight to Gum. Gum squares it straight away for Herring. Coming at him hard. And nicely done there by Hill. Just took him to ground first. Try it out again. Forced the ball up, Andrew. 30 minutes. It's been a long last quarter.
Yeah, it's been an interesting duel that between Herring and Hill. You know, Herring was able to force his way into the game after a slow start, but Stewie Hill, to his credit, has fought his way back on top late in this game.
Mackenzie just away from his defensive zone. Allman gets the ball clear. He just goes long, looking for Welsh or Salter. And the one-hander pulled in by Salter. So this will finish a demolition job in this last quarter for the Eagles. Nick Salter to do the job. He already has a couple this afternoon. It'll be a big week next weekend, next Sunday afternoon for Sturt as they face Centrals in the grand final rematch. Salter puts home the sealer, if you like, the last goal of the match. 44 points, the final margin. A comprehensive victory in the end for the Eagles. It was so close. At half-time, just 8 points, and even at three-quarter time, at 14 points, we thought we had a match on our hands. But the Eagles 24-6, 150, just overcoming Sturt far too easily, 16-10, 106.
Yeah, you can't help but be impressed by the Eagles today. Their tackling pressure was fantastic. They put a lot of pressure on the Sturt players and they turned the footy over under that sort of pressure. They ran hard out of contest. They competed strongly and they had a forward line where they had multiple options down there, and it was those crumbing forwards that popped up. That man in screen there, Matty Goldsworthy, had a fantastic day. But the man of the moment and down with sodas in his 100th game is Adam Grokey.
Well, Adam Grokey, a terrific result for you boys.
Yeah, it's a great result. I mean, it's always hard to come here and have a win, and they played well, and then we just sort of ran over with persistence at the end, and we got the result we wanted.
First couple of games, you got the wins you needed, but it wasn't terrific football. But you were able to really crack things open in that second half.
Yeah, I think the last few weeks, we had a fair crack, and it was tight in close games. It was fairly scrappy, but we showed today that we can come out and play the footy we want to.
Enjoying your footy here too. Nice milestone, the 100th today.
Yeah, it was good, mate. It's not something you sort of, you play towards, but it's nice when they come along.
Plenty of goals in that last term by the Eagles there. Scotty Lewis showed a bit of magic in the pocket, but you just had to go one up.
Well, I thought if he could do it, I can match it.
Oh, mate, it was very good. Well done today. Good stuff. Well done. The Eagles. Well done, Adam.
Cheers.
Adam Grokey in game number 100 of SANFL football. And it was a pretty good 100. I think you'd be very happy walking away from that match. A comprehensive victory for your team, and you've been one of the standouts, I thought. Yeah,
I thought he really controlled centre-half forward, provided a good option as they came out of half-back. But also his use of the footy and the number of goal assists he had. You know, he moved the ball quickly, got back quickly off the mark, and hit a number of players up. And as I said, he's a very hard matchup because he is a 6'3", but can also run hard. And as I said, I thought he was very good. You see him get it lifted off there. So he's a fantastic day for him. He's a part-time model as well, isn't he, Adam Grokey? He is. What he does? He is at that. Likes his surfing. From what I understand, he thinks that the ideal job for him actually would be on the World Surfing Tour. Yeah, no, he's a good young fella. Comes from a very good, very fine family. And as I said, he's a very modest player, works hard at his footy, and he's got a good reward today for those efforts. And indeed, the Eagles, good rewards for their efforts this afternoon by 44 points over the Double Blues, who have some work to do, you'd think, ahead of next Sunday's Anzac Day clash with Central District out at the Ponderosa. And we'll be out there from 3 o'clock on Sunday live in what should be a great match, and looking forward to that. As you see, Grokey leading his team off the ground. As I mentioned, Seb Gilhouse, what a story there. He did play at Glenelg. Last year he won the best and fairest for Morfettville Park in the Southern League, and also won the medal for the best player in the league. So they attracted him back to Oval Avenue. He's only, as I said, been playing for around about 5 years since he was introduced to the game at Mercedes College. Yeah, look, he competed really strongly today. You know, it was an area that Sturt probably we thought would get first look at it and give their midfielders first look at it, but both himself and Miles are able to compete strongly and then add value around the ground, and so they're unable to get hold of it. I don't know if it's absolutely true, but there was a former cameraman colleague of mine who always insisted that every football song had to have Mighty in it somewhere. So I don't know if it's true, but anyway, it certainly does in the Eagles song. Let's have a look at how the game unfolded. Luke Crane early on, very important for the Double Blues, and there were 3 lead changes and 3 times scores were level in the opening term. Yeah, look, it really seesawed the game. You know, the Eagles got on top and in the midfield early and were able to put some scoreboard pressure on, and then some quality Sturt players got involved in Gum and Crane, and here we see Broadbent just use the footy beautifully. And one of the few rare moments today for Nick Solder, who was probably in a battle with Nick Walk, and he probably gave the inside 50s way with probably Nick Walk on top of that. And here's Crane involved again. Crane and the two key playmakers for the double blues in Crane and Gum. They were very good for a long period of time today. Just couldn't sustain it for 4 quarters.
No, well, it looked like it was going to open up for Sturt in that second term, but they did butcher a lot of opportunities, and that gave the opportunity in turn to the opposition. And gee, the Eagles made it look easy, especially in the last quarter.
Yeah, the use of the footy, they were very efficient as they went forward. There's an Adam Grokey movement into space, very predictable for Nick Solder. And there's one of the few highlights for the day for Grant Chambers. You can see there the number of Eagle players that were around him and cut off his space. And there's one of the players that bobbed up today in Matty Goldsworthy. He was very, very good. Just with his use of the footage, he's footy smart. He's only 18 years old, but he's a super smart player. And he's got a big, big future. They've blended some youth into this side. We see there Angus Roundtree. And there's a story of the last quarter in Matty Broadbent, the way he finished off the game. He was involved with 4 or 5 score assists in the last quarter for the Eagles. Lewis made his way into this side.
Yeah, put his hand up to say, I want to be a goal of the day, and then along came out and Grokey, and he says, no, you don't. I'm in my 100th game, it's my day, and certainly enjoyed that little finish as we look at those scores quarter by quarter, all square at quarter time, and just an advantage of 8 points at halftime for the Eagles. They stretched it to 14 at 3-quarter time, and what a mighty last quarter. 9 goals won to Sturt's 4 goals won. So plenty of goal scoring, no doubt about that, but it was all too late for the double blues when their goals came. So we see there lots of goal kickers too. Crane and Gum, the multiples at the top of the list for the double blues, and Cheap and Goldsworthy 4 each, and plenty of 3 goal kickers for the Eagles as well. So it's very interesting to go through that list too and just look at those inside 50s in the end. Just reward for effort for the Eagles.
Yeah, look, the very high inside 50s. Don't generally see a game with that many inside 50s. So, but look, the conversion rate when they went forward to score 29 times from 59 inside 50s is a very good ratio.
Absolutely, something that Michael Godden would be very pleased with. He's down in the rooms, he's with Sodas.
No doubt. Now, Michael Godden, I know you've already had a couple of wins, but was that your first chance to really assess where you think your squad's at?
Absolutely, mate. I think that this is a real challenge. I mean, as I said earlier before the game, Sturt had a really good win against the Bays, and last week I obviously watched it pretty closely, and I thought that they were fantastic around the clinches. I knew we had to meet them there today, and I thought in all areas of the ground our pressure was really good, and I think that certainly went a long way to the win.
Guys, run us through your forward line. I know that you were changing players around there a fair bit, but you were able to find 24 goals amongst the group.
Yeah, look, our small crumbing forwards kicked some goals today, which is good, and our we've got a pretty potent attack up there with Grokey and Salter and all those guys, and Welshie, of course, running up there. So I think today was the first time we actually got a bit of motion up there, and we started to hit the right spots, and our ball movement out of the back line was much better, which helped.
In terms of interchanging some of those bigger forwards there, how did you really work that out and balance that well?
It's pretty much who's the most tired, pretty much. I mean, those guys have a licence to move up and move back, so we just expose what we can in the opposition, and in terms of coming on and off the ground, yeah, look, we keep a pretty close eye on how they're going, and we need to keep as much forward pressure as possible, so they need to be fresh.
I want to ask you about Mark McKenzie, back in for now the last couple of weeks. Looked good down in defence. What's your plan with him once he gets his match fitness up?
Yeah, look, I think the beauty of Mark is he can play everywhere, and I think that the midfield's certainly somewhere that I've targeted him to play at some stage, but at the moment his versatility down back, playing the small, playing the tall, absolutely fantastic, and he's going to have a great year, I think.
Michael Godden is a senior coach, 3 in zip. Sounds good. Well done, mate. Congratulations.